Hello and welcome to another Overlord lore video, and this time I'm going to talk about something that I really should explain before we are going to take a look at the battle between Climb and the Sorcerer King. Namely how Rana manipulated her faithful dog Climb into thinking that she was just a poor innocent princess worried about his citizens, instead of being, figuratively and increasingly literally, a selfish demon. But before we're going to take a serious look at all of this, let's take a look at my Patreons and thank them for supporting this channel. Furthermore, I say thanks to all users of the YouTube thanks function for making one-time donations. Now, with all of that said, let's talk about everything that happened. And we start with the setup. Right off the bat, the whole thing seemed like an 18-carat run of bad luck. But the truth was that Renner rigged the game from the very start. Ever since Renner had received Albedo's special gift, Renner prepared herself for transformation into an imp, and it is heavily implied that the orphans that were poisoned in order for Renner to meet one of the conditions, transforming from a mortal human to an immortal imp. And that's why Renner also smelled ashen when she returned from the orphanage, even back when she was still a human. And Climb also noted that Rana had no problem keeping up with him, while both were running down the hallway to King Ramposa's audience chamber. Now, while King Ramposa now cordially invited him to secure the royal bloodline, aka to, let's say, marry Rana, it was far too late for any of that. Rana now had found a way to secure immortality and the immortality of her love for all eternity. And Climb also declined the offer, not because he did not want to comfort himself with more than just his imaginations and his fingers, but because he still was a commoner, and Rana was the last heir to the royal throne. But Rana quickly changed topics in order to get Climb out of the palace. He made her father and Climb think that she wanted to protect the kingdom's capital, the citizens of Riestais, from the wrath of the Sorcerer King, by hiding all of the royal family's insignias and powers, in order to then tell Ainz that he can't destroy the city, lest he want to also destroy the royal records, and things like the royal crown or the king's sigil ring. But of course Rana knew where the storage room was, so it was very easy for the supposedly hidden things to be recovered later. That might also be the reason why Mare was near the storage room. And while all of this was happening, Cocytus had finally arrived at the royal palace Rolente and froze it solid. Or better yet, his Shivas did so. And this was all done in order to actually preserve the piece of royal greatness that the palace was. Because Rolente was, especially to normal peasants and commoners, a really big, really exquisite shiny place. And if such a seat of power can be frozen solid for the centuries and millennia to come, then it would serve as a great and grim reminder to never be as foolish as Philip was. Now, Climb actually met Mare on the way back, and he also assumed to be more than capable of killing him. Now we know, especially after the last volumes, that this would not have happened, but it nonetheless had crossed Climb's mind. But luckily Rana made sure that her puppy would return safely home, and I'm sure that Mare had been instructed to not kill the precious lab, or in Rana's case, Crouch Dog, as to not ruin the great climactic battle in the royal palace that she had asked for, that she had set up, in order to utterly convince Climb that Rana had no other choice than serving his majesty for eternity. And once Climb ran away from Mare, a smart choice, he came back to the frozen palace, and froze in turn for a moment, once the Shivas let him open the door to the throne room, after telling him that he was the last human. A subtle reminder that Rana wasn't a human anymore. Climb couldn't believe what he saw. The king was dead, with Rana's hand bloodied, and for a moment he was confused. He could not believe that Rana, his sweet innocent princess, would be able to do such a horrible thing. Enraged, he challenged the Sorcerer King and was pressed to the ground due to Demiurge taking control of him. This was one of the most vital things that needed to be done. Climb needed to learn that Demiurge was willing and able to control others with his voice alone. so that he could come to the conclusion that Rana involuntarily had slain her own father by order of the Sorcerer King and Demiurge. Now, even in the light novels, nothing of this was happening on screen, so to speak, so we don't know what was happening from Rana's point of view, but she likely walked up smiling to her father and slew him in cold blood. A nice Arthas reference, by the way. And this, being a kinslayer or at the very least a king-slayer, was most likely another condition to become a demon. While I could also imagine that betraying true love might be the third condition to be met in order for a human to turn into a demon. And once Climb accepted this and died heroically, he was brought back. And now Rana did two things in order to secure Climb for all eternity. He guilt-tripped him by revealing that she had to swear fealty to Einsolgon for all eternity in order for Eins, or rather Pestonia, to revive Climb. Now imagine what this does to a guy like Climb. He was not only in love with Rana and admired his golden princess, but he was also Rana's bodyguard. And now Rana has to serve Einsolgon, the undead that destroyed her kingdom for eternity, all because she wanted to have him by his side. I said that once before in regards to Remedios, but we are seldomly confronted with a vengeful undead in our day-to-day life. At least I hope so. But someone using your trust in order to manipulate you for their own gains and ends is sadly quite a common thing. So this hits way harder than just the army of the undead. It's something personal, an intimate act of cold-hearted manipulation. And in addition to all of this, he emotionally pressured him to accept, because otherwise Rana would feel lonely. After all, Climb was the only human that was still around, that she knew, her childhood friend, so to speak. And also Rana adding that her wish was selfish, after all she had, at least from Climb's own perspective, sacrificed for the good of other people, also added yet more emotional weight on everything. And the second thing that Eins supposedly required of Climb is to be tested, meaning that in order to become an imp, Climb will have to do some disgusting acts that are not related to any of Rana's fantasies in order for him to become an imp, to ascend to demonhood essentially. And with Climb now sufficiently manipulated, he agreed to all of this, and therefore Rana, thanks to her schemes and lies, secured Climb's loyalty and love for all eternity. And with all of that said, I say thank you very much for watching, and special thanks to Arder Daddy Arder, Bad Guy E, Bad Burrito 316, Beezer, Ben C, Brandon D, Chrissy, Crowley 0221, Sia, Crystal Prime, Dead Slime, Death is Mercy, Deathless Dragonlord, Demon Xenomorph 1987, Devin Downen, Ding Dong, Duckwagon, Dystopia, Dystopia II, Enigmatic Unicorn, Feral Shivan, Guy with That Head, Hector Marino, Huss, Huster, Jacob G, Jana B, Jason, J. Morris, Chromius, Kyle R, Legendarius, Lelouch Britannia with a Mustache, Lexus Fox, Lord Nishikian Rai, Lord Touch Me, Merovec, Mr. Shoes, Mr. Tweaker, Michael R, Michael Y, Nope, Oh Hell No, Normal Toad, Oh Kill, Overlord General Gasper, Paddy Pantum, Personage, Primus 11, Cune Caracos P, Shergox's Daddy, Shadow Lightning Wolf, Shrine Keeper, Super Tier Magic Batista Bomb, Supreme Cheese, Staris, Ted, Texas Deer, The Orc Warboss, Rag Ed Smasher, T.E. Wang, Vash Hawkeye, Vegito 27, Venture Fanatic, Wilhelm, Xenokai, and Zonagon. Thanks guys. Anyway, have a nice day, and I hope to see you all again soon on my next video.